Well, exactly. That's exactly the point. I met some young women, maybe 30 years old, that she has advised for the last 13 years to remain celibate so the Kundalini will awaken. Does that sound like a cult? No. She was never advised to stay celibate so the Kundalini would awaken. She came to the path with an awakened Kundalini.
Very much so.
Again, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what's here. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm not going to allow you to put words in my mouth. I'm not going to allow you to skew it. So, Siddhananda, would you like to address, did I tell you to be celibate for the last 13 years so maybe your Kundalini would awaken?
Never. My Kundalini had awakened, boy, I would say at least 5 years prior to starting this path. Due to some practices I was doing, and I don't believe I was celibate at that time. So all of this is, I don't know where it came from. We never said it. We spoke to this man that came by, and I said hello to him. Both Sachi and I said hello to him, and then he made his rude remarks. That was it. That's the only word I've spoken to him at all. But as far as the other things that are coming up, I have no idea where it's coming from. Where he's getting it, definitely not from anyone on this path.
He's in a fantasy notion. And this is the problem with, maybe he's hypnotized himself and putting in false memories and false conversations that never took place.
Wow, that's just what?
But I was living in India, and Siddhananda at that time had contacted me. I was talking to her from India before I even came back. And her Kundalini was awakened. And at that point in time, she was having very difficult problems. And the first time I met her, we could barely get through a 15-minute talk because it was so difficult. I remember that. And I counseled her for the first week. And she was wigging out during that first week. It's going to take time, you know. Was that not what was said back then? It's going to take time, you know, but give it time. And in that time, what has taken place? Like I said, she came with her Kundalini awakened and was terrified, things were not going well. She was quite ill and absolutely in fear mode, and things were, you know, when I met her. I came back from India. I asked her where she's at. She was in Seattle. My daughter was in Seattle. I went there and we met, and she started the path from there.
Absolutely. Everything that was said is 100% true. That's it. You know, I really didn't know what was happening to me with all that was going on, and it had been going on for 5 years, but it had reached a crisis point with phenomena, and as well as I was quite ill, and you know, fortunately I was able to find Guruji online, and of all things, I never even get on the computer. It was one of those things that came at just the right time, and you know, she explained everything so clearly, and it took a while, and things settled down, and I was able to get back functioning when I wasn't doing very well when I met her at all, and I was just beginning to eat meat, because that's when that clinic that I went to, the naturopath clinic, said start eating meat. So I probably had started eating it maybe for about a week when I met her, and then she, you know, that was her advice as well, and things started balancing out from there.
And what have been your experiences when it comes to consciousness, and what is it you have been experiencing along the way? Because he seems to think you're some deluded fool.
Yeah,
and again, you know, you have to go by what are their experiences, direct experience. So I want her to give you what is her direct experience, not my experience, not somebody else's experience, but her experiences, where she's at in consciousness now, what is taking place, what is not. After 13 years of being here.
13 years, boy. I have to say that right away after meeting Guruji, it really so much shifted constantly with phenomena was shifting. And boy, there's been a lot of, kriyas, just continued verbalizations, all sorts of things just kept flushing and moving through. And
there are videos of that are online that show the kriyas that were happening, showing the glossalia and the speaking that was taking place, showing the spontaneous movements that were taking place during that time. All of that's documented online from years ago.
Totally, way back. And,
years ago.
And that was happening before, but, things were shifting, they changed, and just right away. And it was really not too soon after I met Guruji, when she went back to India, that I did have the experience of no I. Mine just dropped out. It was very, very brief, and it didn't last that long, but there was, just that, absolutely, there was no I, no me, no nothing, and that kept coming in and out for years. But I was working, and I had a child I was raising, and very much immersed in worldly things. So in and out of that, and then there was some just profound, huge gaps of non-duality that were just undeniable, that have come and gone since. Definitely no thoughts, absolutely 100%. And there's still some revolving mind. It's just, I have always been honest with that. There's still some thoughts that come and go, but there are times when there are absolutely no thoughts, 100% no thoughts. And honestly, that's again what, it's your direct experience. That it's like right away, you experience that, and that's it. There's just I don't care what people say about it. 100%. It's just there, and it's undeniable, and really you can't even put it in words, and you do your best, but there's no words, there's no thoughts, there's no me, there's nothing. There's just an absolute still, non-dual reality, consciousness. It's honestly, you have to experience it. So again, what anyone says when you're in that consciousness, it doesn't matter. You can say whatever you want. It's the truth of it. It is. It's 100%. And that's why we're here on this path, because that's what makes a guru valid, is when these kinds of shifts come forward. If it didn't, then I would wonder why people would want to still stay on a path. But we're here, and I'm here to say that yes, it's been many years, because it obviously takes time, but if that wasn't there, why would I even call it a path? Why would I even call Guruji my guru? And it's due to her grace. 100%. This would never come without it. And I know that, and I don't care what people say or do. It's just, it doesn't matter, because that's the reality of it. And the reality has come from direct experience. It's just, yes, there can be no thoughts. Yes, absolutely. Why would you even walk a path if that wasn't a true thing? You have to know it yourself. I don't know.
So this idea that you want to make a documentary to address what she's got and what she doesn't, that maybe she's 30 years old. Well, she's not 30 years old. You're how old again? 50?
Almost 54.
Almost 54 years old. So you're just, pulling stuff out of your ass that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You haven't, wanted to find out what she's experiencing, what she's not. You're running with the thing that I'm telling them to be celibate to open the Kundalini, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know of any that have taken sannyas that don't have an awakened Kundalini already. None. And most of the people that come to this path come with an awakened Kundalini before they even get here. There have been some that have come that have not, and their Kundalini has awakened and opened. Okay, that does take place. But nobody is told to be celibate to awaken Kundalini. None have ever been told that, not once, ever, ever, ever. You know? So again, I absolutely am dumbfounded when people come here. They've spent no time here, and they make all these assumptions and try to put things on you which you've never said, and now claim, oh, you're going to ruin me and you're going to take away my business. There is no business here.
What business?
There is no business here. None of these practices that are given are, you know, there's no charge. There's been no charge. I don't teach courses. You know, I'm not a one of these satsang givers that, oh, there's nothing to give. There's nowhere to go. Just be in, you know, be in the illusion of non-duality. Just say it. Just speak it and it's there. You know, nonsense. Nonsense. No, I work with people that come here that are in very difficult circumstances with Kundalini. And I work to get them balanced, and I work to get them going forward in their lives. Whether they choose to stay here or go is up to them. Some of them get balanced out and they choose to leave. Fine, leave. Enjoy your lives, whatever you're doing. But again, you know, this idea that you're going to make this video for her and address all this is absolute nonsense. So you didn't get to interview her and grill her in my presence. Well, now you get the statement. And if we were any type of a decent person when you came, we would have been happy to give you those interviews. But the way you came and the way you're acting and what you're doing, really, you're not owed anything. But she's happy to talk, happy to tell the truth of what's here, how we met, why she's been here for the 13 years, what's happened, how she came, and what's going now, and the changes that have happened along the way. And they're documented through videos. They're documented through videos. And if you would have taken any time, you would have been able to find that. But no, it's so much easier to want to attempt to smear somebody and hide behind your money and your big titles you think you have, psychotherapist and hypnotherapist, etc., as if it gives you some sort of a leg up on understanding what's here. You're not psychic. You don't know what's here. And you haven't been honest in asking. You came in with an agenda from Rick Ross' site, which is clear now. When you start throwing around sannyas, you start throwing around this and all the rest of the drama that they're throwing there that they don't know. And when you heard something you didn't like, and oh, by the way, your statement that Vivekananda died of diabetes, he did not. He died of a heart attack. He did not die of diabetes. He wasn't a big meat-eater. He was a vegetarian. Hello? So you've lied about that too. Oh, Vivekananda was a meat-eater and he died of diabetes. Maybe do a little fact checking first. You're supposed to be the great Hanuman, devotee of Lord Ram. And all you're doing is out there spinning a bunch of disinformation, don't even know the first thing about Yogananda. Want to throw out what the enlightened India was like in the Golden Age, and when I gave you the truth of it, what was there, you didn't like it. Okay? So you know what? Go do whatever you're going to do. But I'm telling you, you want to proclaim that you're, Hanuman, and you're doing this great service to humanity, you might want to think about what you're doing before you do it. Because when you want to bear false witness against a guru that's doing nothing but aiding humanity in every way possible that they can, and you want to spin lies and deceit, bear false witness, not check one iota of facts, make assumptions, jump to conclusions without any evidence anywhere, and you've been 100% wrong about Vivekananda, 100% wrong about Siddhananda, 100% wrong with what's here, what's said, and why it's said. You might want to think about that before you go any further. Because that's not karma you want. Well, maybe you do want it. Maybe you do want that karma. But it's not a smart thing to be doing. It's really not. There's one thing in exposing the truth of something when there's something wrong. There's another thing about lying and making up stuff and trying to spin it as fact when it has no fact within it. That's egregious. So I'm just going to cut this off here and put this up and say you might want to reconsider what you're doing. You might want to reconsider what you're doing.